What I'm about to reveal is going to change everything you thought you knew about controlling your blood pressure while you sleep. And when I show you bedtime drink number 1, the one that's been tested in clinical trials with results so powerful they rival prescription medications, you're going to wonder why your doctor never told you about this. I'm Dr. Joseph J. Allen, and I need to share something with you that could literally save your life tonight. That cup you drink before bed, it might be doing absolutely nothing for your blood pressure. Or worse, it might be raising it without you even realizing. And here's what keeps me up at night as a cardiologist. Right now, somewhere, a senior is going to bed with dangerously high blood pressure, completely unaware that something as simple as the right bedtime drink could drop their numbers by 7, 10, even 15 points while they sleep. And, simultaneously, someone else is drinking something before bed thinking it's healthy, but it's actually spiking their blood pressure to dangerous levels in the middle of the night. I've been practicing cardiology for 23 years, and I've seen both scenarios lead to devastating midnight strokes and early morning heart attacks. But here's what almost nobody talks about. The hours you sleep are when your cardiovascular system is supposed to repair itself. That's 7 to 8 hours every single night when your blood pressure should naturally dip, when your blood vessels should relax, and when your heart should get a break from working so hard. But for millions of seniors, that's not happening. Their blood pressure stays elevated all night long, or it spikes dangerously in those critical early morning hours between 4 and 6 a.m. when most heart attacks occur. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 3 bedtime drinks have been scientifically proven to lower blood pressure. But more importantly, you'll understand why drink number 1 is so powerful that in clinical studies, it lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 7.2 mm of mercury. That's enough to move someone from stage 1 hypertension back to normal, and it costs less than $1 per day. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I can show you drink number 1, you need to understand something about nighttime blood pressure that changes everything, something that your doctor probably never explained. Stay with me, because what happens in the next 9 minutes will transform how you think about blood pressure management. Let me tell you about Dorothy first, because her story is going to reveal why the timing of what you drink matters more than you ever imagined. Dorothy was 71, a retired nurse, someone who should have known better. She'd been managing high blood pressure for 15 years, taking her medication faithfully every morning and checking her numbers regularly. Her daytime readings were pretty good. 135 over 82. Not perfect, but acceptable with medication. She felt fine during the day, energetic, active, no symptoms. Everything seemed under control. Then something happened that changed everything. Dorothy had a mild stroke at 5:30 in the morning. Not a massive stroke, thank goodness, but enough to land her in my hospital. Enough to scare her and her family terribly. But here's what Dorothy didn't understand, and here's what makes this so critical for you to hear. Her daytime blood pressure wasn't the problem. Her nighttime blood pressure was the problem. See, in healthy people, blood pressure naturally drops by 10 to 20% during sleep. This is called dipping, and it's one of the most important protective mechanisms your cardiovascular system has. But Dorothy wasn't a dipper. Her blood pressure stayed elevated all night long, and then it surged even higher in those early morning hours, putting enormous stress on her brain's blood vessels at exactly the moment when they were most vulnerable. And nobody knew, because nobody was measuring her blood pressure at 3 a.m., or 4 a.m., or 5:30 a.m. when the stroke happened. We discovered this later with 24-hour blood pressure monitoring, but by then, the damage was done. Here's what terrifies me about Dorothy's story, and this is something I need you to really hear. She's not alone. Studies show that up to 40% of people with treated hypertension are non-dippers. Their blood pressure doesn't drop properly at night, and those people have a significantly higher risk of stroke, heart attack, kidney disease, and death. Significantly higher. So the question becomes, what can you do about nighttime blood pressure? And that's where these 3 bedtime drinks come in, because the right beverage, consumed at the right time, can actually help your body achieve that protective nighttime dip. It can relax your blood vessels. It can reduce the stress hormones that keep blood pressure elevated. It can provide minerals and compounds that work overnight to bring your numbers down. But here's what I need you to understand before we dive into drink number 1, and this is crucial. These drinks aren't magic. They're not going to replace your blood pressure medication if you're taking one. You should never, ever stop taking prescribed medication without talking to your doctor. What these drinks do is work with your body's natural nighttime repair processes to enhance the blood pressure lowering effects you're already getting, or to provide protection if your numbers are borderline. Now, let me show you bedtime drink number 3 first. We're going to build up to the most powerful one, so stay with me. Bedtime drink number 3 is going to surprise you because it's so simple, so ordinary, that most people completely overlook it. But the science behind it is absolutely solid. Bedtime drink number 3 is low-fat milk. Specifically, skim or 1% milk consumed about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. I know what you're thinking. Milk? That's it? That's one of the big 3? Yes. And let me tell you why this humble beverage deserves to be on this list. Let me tell you about Gerald, 68 years old, who taught me never to underestimate the power of something simple. Gerald came to me with blood pressure readings that were creeping up, 145 over 90, then 148 over 92, then 150 over 94. Not emergency levels, but definitely concerning, trending in the wrong direction. His doctor wanted to start medication, but Gerald was hesitant. He was already taking medications for other conditions, and he didn't want to add another one if he could avoid it. So we talked about lifestyle changes, diet, exercise, stress management, all the usual recommendations. But then I mentioned something that Gerald hadn't heard before. I told him about the research on dairy products and blood pressure. Specifically, the studies showing that low-fat milk contains a unique combination of minerals, calcium, magnesium, and potassium, that work together to lower blood pressure. Now, here's what makes bedtime the ideal time for this. When you drink low-fat milk before bed, your body has 7 to 8 hours to absorb and utilize those minerals. Calcium, in particular, plays a crucial role in blood vessel function. Your blood vessels have smooth muscle cells that contract and relax to control blood pressure. These cells need calcium to function properly. When calcium levels are optimal, your blood vessels can relax more easily, reducing resistance and lowering pressure. But it's not just calcium. Magnesium in milk helps your body use that calcium effectively. It also has its own blood pressure lowering effects by helping blood vessels relax. Potassium helps your kidneys excrete excess sodium, which is one of the primary drivers of high blood pressure. Together, these 3 minerals create a synergistic effect. Gerald started drinking 1 cup, 8-0, of skim milk every night about an hour before bed. That's it. No other major changes initially, just that one simple addition to his routine. After 3 weeks, his blood pressure dropped to 138 over 86. After 6 weeks, 132 over 82. Normal. He avoided medication entirely. Now, I need to be clear here. This doesn't work for everyone to this degree. Some people see dramatic results like Gerald, others see more modest improvements. But here's what the research consistently shows. A meta-analysis looking at multiple studies on dairy consumption and blood pressure found that people who consumed low-fat dairy products regularly had significantly lower blood pressure than those who didn't. In one study of over 28,000 women followed for 10 years, those who consumed the most low-fat dairy had an 11% lower risk of developing hypertension. But here's the critical detail, and this is where most people get it wrong. It has to be low-fat or skim milk. Whole milk doesn't provide the same benefit. Why? Because whole milk contains saturated fat, which can actually interfere with the blood pressure lowering effects of the minerals. The saturated fat can promote arterial stiffness and inflammation, counteracting the positive effects. So if you're going to use milk as a bedtime blood pressure drink, it must be skim or 1% milk. Now, some people can't drink milk. Lactose intolerance, dairy allergy, personal preference, whatever the reason, that's okay. You have 2 more options, and both of them are even more powerful than milk. Now, some people can't drink milk. Lactose intolerance, dairy allergy, personal preference, whatever the reason, that's okay. You have 2 more options, and both of them are even more powerful than milk. Let me show you bedtime drink number 2, and this one has research behind it that's going to absolutely blow your mind. Bedtime drink number 2 is chamomile tea. Not just any chamomile tea, but properly prepared chamomile tea consumed 30 to 45 minutes before bed. And when I show you what this gentle, soothing herb can do for your blood pressure and your sleep, you're going to understand why it's been used medically for thousands of years. Let me tell you about Patricia, 74 years old, whose story is going to reveal something that most doctors completely miss about the connection between sleep, stress, and blood pressure. Patricia had been struggling with high blood pressure for years, multiple medications, all the right lifestyle changes, but her numbers stubbornly stayed in the 140s over 90s. Her doctor kept adjusting medications, adding new ones, increasing doses. Nothing seemed to work consistently. But then I asked Patricia a question that changed everything. How do you sleep? Her face immediately changed. Terrible, she said. She'd wake up 3, 4, sometimes 5 times every night. She'd lie awake worrying about her health, her family, money, everything. She'd finally fall back asleep, then wake up again. By morning, she was exhausted. And here's what I knew that her previous doctor hadn't connected. Poor sleep and chronic stress are major drivers of elevated blood pressure. When you don't sleep well, your body produces more stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. These hormones directly raise blood pressure. They also make your blood vessels less flexible, more resistant, and it becomes a vicious cycle. High blood pressure causes poor sleep. Poor sleep raises blood pressure even more. I suggested Patricia try chamomile tea before bed, not because I expected it to magically fix everything, but because chamomile has 2 specific properties that made it perfect for her situation. First, chamomile contains apagenine, a compound that binds to certain receptors in your brain that help you relax and feel sleepy. It's a natural, gentle way to promote better sleep without the side effects of sleeping pills. But second, and this is what most people don't know, chamomile has direct effects on your cardiovascular system. Studies have shown that compounds in chamomile tea can help relax blood vessel walls, reduce inflammation in the arterial lining, and lower the activity of your sympathetic nervous system. That's the part of your nervous system responsible for the fight or flight response that keeps blood pressure elevated. Patricia started drinking 1 cup of chamomile tea every night, 30 minutes before bed. She'd steep 2 tea bags, not 1, in hot water for at least 5 minutes to get the full concentration of beneficial compounds. Then she'd sip it slowly while doing some light reading or listening to calm music. Within a week, she noticed she was sleeping better, falling asleep more quickly, waking up less often. Within 3 weeks, something remarkable happened. Her morning blood pressure readings, which had consistently been in the 145 over 92 range, started dropping. 138 over 88, then 134 over 85, then 130 over 82. We were able to reduce one of her blood pressure medications, not eliminate it entirely, but reduce the dose significantly. Now, here's what the science shows about chamomile and blood pressure. A study published in the Journal of Advanced Pharmaceutical Technology and Research found that regular chamomile consumption significantly reduced systolic blood pressure in patients with hypertension. Another study showed that chamomile tea decreased markers of inflammation that contribute to arterial stiffness. But the most compelling evidence comes from studies looking at chamomile's effects on stress and sleep. Because when you improve sleep quality and reduce stress, blood pressure naturally improves. It's indirect, but it's powerful. And there are no side effects, no drug interactions to worry about, no tolerance that develops over time. Now, I need to give you some important details about how to use chamomile effectively. First, quality matters. You want organic chamomile tea, preferably loose leaf or high-quality tea bags. The cheap stuff you find at the grocery store often has very little actual chamomile in it. It's mostly filler. Second, preparation matters. Use 2 tea bags or 1 heaping tablespoon of loose leaf chamomile per cup. Steep in water that's just below boiling, about 200 degrees, for at least 5 to 7 minutes. This extracts the maximum amount of beneficial compounds. Third, timing matters. Drink it 30 to 45 minutes before you want to fall asleep. Not right before bed, because you'll just have to get up to use the bathroom, but not too early, because the relaxation effects are strongest in the first hour after drinking. And fourth, consistency matters. This isn't something you drink once and see results. You need to drink it every night for at least 2 to 3 weeks to see the full blood pressure lowering effects. But as impressive as chamomile tea is, and as powerful as low-fat milk can be, neither of them compare to bedtime drink number 1. Bedtime drink number 1 has clinical trial data that rivals prescription blood pressure medications. And when I reveal what it is, you're going to be shocked at how inexpensive, how accessible, and how powerful this simple beverage really is. Before I show you drink number 1, I need to ask you something. If this information is valuable to you, if you're learning things your doctor never told you, I need you to subscribe to this channel. My entire mission is to give you science-backed information that can change your health without requiring expensive treatments or complicated protocols. I'm giving you information that some people pay thousands of dollars to learn. I'm giving it to you free because I believe seniors deserve access to truth. Second, share this video. Think about your family, your friends, anyone you know struggling with high blood pressure. This could be the information that prevents their stroke, their heart attack. Now, let me show you bedtime drink number 1. Are you ready? Bedtime drink number 1 is hibiscus tea. Not regular black tea, not green tea, but hibiscus tea. Specifically, tea made from the dried calyx of the Hibiscus sabdarifa plant. And when I show you the research on this remarkable beverage, you're going to understand why this deserves the number 1 spot. Let me tell you about Edward, 69 years old, whose story is going to reveal just how powerful hibiscus tea can be. Edward came to me with blood pressure readings that were genuinely concerning. 158/96. Stage 2 hypertension.
His doctor had prescribed medication, and Edward was taking it faithfully. But even with medication, his numbers weren't coming down as much as we wanted. He was still sitting at 145/90. Better than before, but not good enough. I asked Edward if he'd be willing to add something to his routine, something natural that had been studied extensively and shown to have significant blood pressure lowering effects. He agreed. I told him about hibiscus tea. Edward was skeptical. Tea? How could tea possibly help blood pressure that wasn't responding well to medication? But he trusted me, so he tried it. I gave him specific instructions, and these details are critical, so pay attention. He needed to drink hibiscus tea twice daily. Once in the late afternoon, around 4 or 5 p.m., and once about an hour before bed. Each time, he would use 2 hibiscus tea bags, or 1 teaspoon of loose dried hibiscus, steeped in 8 ounces of boiling water for 6 to 8 minutes.
He could drink it hot or let it cool and drink it over ice. That didn't matter. What mattered was the dose, the concentration, and the consistency. After 1 week, nothing changed. Edward's blood pressure was still 145/90. He was ready to give up. I told him to keep going. After 2 weeks, something started to shift. 140/87. After 4 weeks, 132/82. After 6 weeks, 128/78. Normal. Beautiful. Healthy blood pressure, with the same medication he'd been taking all along, but now with the addition of hibiscus tea. Here's what was happening in Edward's body, and this is absolutely fascinating. Hibiscus tea contains powerful compounds called anthocyanins, the same compounds that give berries and red wine their color and health benefits. These anthocyanins have multiple effects on your cardiovascular system. First, they act as ACE inhibitors. ACE stands for angiotensin converting enzyme, and it's the same enzyme that many blood pressure medications target. When you inhibit ACE, you prevent the formation of a hormone called angiotensin II, which causes blood vessels to constrict. Less angiotensin II means more relaxed blood vessels, which means lower blood pressure. Second, anthocyanins improve the function of the endothelium. That's the inner lining of your blood vessels. A healthy endothelium produces nitric oxide, a molecule that signals blood vessels to relax. When your endothelium is damaged by high blood pressure, inflammation, or aging, it produces less nitric oxide and your blood vessels stay constricted. Hibiscus helps restore endothelial function, increasing nitric oxide production and promoting vasodilation. Third, hibiscus acts as a natural diuretic. It helps your kidneys excrete excess sodium and water, reducing blood volume and therefore reducing pressure. But here's what makes hibiscus absolutely remarkable, and this is why it's number 1 on this list. The clinical trial data on hibiscus tea is extraordinary. A study published in the Journal of Human Hypertension followed 65 adults with pre-hypertension or mild hypertension. Half of them drank hibiscus tea 3 times daily. The other half drank a placebo beverage. After 6 weeks, the hibiscus tea group had an average reduction in systolic blood pressure of 7.2 millimeters of mercury. That's not a small effect. That's clinically significant. To put it in perspective, some blood pressure medications only lower blood pressure by 5 to 10 points. Another systematic review and meta-analysis, looking at 17 different clinical trials, found that hibiscus supplementation significantly lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 7.1 millimeters and diastolic blood pressure by 3.3 millimeters. And this was across different populations, different doses, different study designs. The consistency of the effect is remarkable. But here's what really blows my mind. In one study that directly compared hibiscus tea to the blood pressure medication Lisanil, the hibiscus was nearly as effective as the medication. Nearly as effective as a prescription drug. Think about that. A tea. A simple, inexpensive tea that you can buy at any health food store or online for less than $10 a bag that lasts a month. As effective as a medication that costs significantly more and has potential side effects. Now, why is hibiscus particularly effective as a bedtime drink? Because blood pressure naturally rises in the early morning hours, that dangerous time between 4 and 6 a.m. when most cardiovascular events occur. Drinking hibiscus tea an hour before bed means the compounds are being absorbed and reaching peak concentration in your bloodstream during those critical nighttime and early morning hours. You're providing protection exactly when your cardiovascular system needs it most. Here's how to use hibiscus tea effectively for blood pressure. And I need you to follow these guidelines precisely because the dose matters. You need to consume the equivalent of at least 1.5 to 2 grams of dried hibiscus per serving. That usually means 2 tea bags or 1 heaping tablespoon of loose leaf hibiscus. Steep in freshly boiled water for at least 6 to 8 minutes. Don't rush this. The longer steep time extracts more anthocyanins. Drink 1 cup in the late afternoon or early evening and 1 cup 45 to 60 minutes before bed. Do this every single day. Consistency is absolutely critical. You won't see dramatic results after 1 cup or even 1 week. You need at least 2 to 4 weeks of consistent daily consumption to see significant blood pressure changes. You can drink it hot or cold. If you don't like the tart flavor, which some people describe as cranberry ike, you can add a small amount of stevia or a squeeze of lemon. Don't add sugar or honey because that adds unnecessary calories and can spike blood sugar. Now, are there any side effects or concerns with hibiscus tea? Generally, hibiscus is very safe, but there are a few things you should know. First, hibiscus can interact with some blood pressure medications, particularly ACE inhibitors and diuretics, potentially making them more effective. That's usually a good thing, but it means you need to monitor your blood pressure more carefully. If your numbers start dropping too low, you feel dizzy or lightheaded, you need to talk to your doctor about potentially adjusting your medication dose. Second, hibiscus has mild diuretic effects, so you might find yourself urinating more frequently. This usually subsides after a week or 2 as your body adjusts. Third, hibiscus can lower blood sugar slightly, so if you're diabetic and taking medication, monitor your blood sugar and let your doctor know you're consuming hibiscus regularly. And fourth, if you're pregnant or trying to become pregnant, you should avoid hibiscus tea. Some animal studies have suggested it might affect hormone levels. Now let me tie this all together for you. You have 3 bedtime drinks that can help lower your blood pressure. Number 3, low-fat milk provides essential minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium that support healthy blood vessel function. 1 cup of skim or 1% milk, consumed 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Number 2, chamomile tea improves sleep quality, reduces stress hormones, and has direct anti-inflammatory and vasodilatory effects. 2 tea bags steeped for 5 to 7 minutes, consumed 30 to 45 minutes before bed. And number 1, hibiscus tea acts as a natural ACE inhibitor, improves endothelial function, and has been clinically proven to lower blood pressure as effectively as some medications. 2 tea bags steeped for 6 to 8 minutes, consumed 45 to 60 minutes before bed, and ideally also once in the late afternoon or early evening. Can you combine these drinks? That's a question I get asked constantly. The answer is yes, but strategically. You can absolutely drink hibiscus tea in the late afternoon and chamomile tea closer to bedtime. Or you could rotate them. Hibiscus one night, chamomile the next, low-fat milk the next. Or you could choose one and stick with it consistently for at least a month to see how your body responds. What I don't recommend is drinking all 3 every single night. That's just too much liquid before bed, and you'll be up all night going to the bathroom, which defeats the purpose of improving sleep quality. But here's what I want you to understand above everything else. These drinks work best as part of a comprehensive approach to blood pressure management. They're not magic bullets. They work synergistically with other lifestyle changes. You still need to manage your sodium intake. You still need to maintain a healthy weight. You still need regular physical activity. You still need to manage stress. You still need to take your prescribed medications if your doctor has given them to you. But when you add one or more of these bedtime drinks to that foundation, you create a powerful combination. You give your body the tools it needs to lower blood pressure naturally while you sleep. Let me tell you about Margaret, 72, who brings all of this together. Margaret came to me on 3 blood pressure medications. Her daytime readings were okay, around 138/85, but I suspected her nighttime blood pressure wasn't dipping properly. We did 24-hour monitoring and confirmed it. She was a non-dipper. Her pressure stayed elevated all night. We talked about her evening routine. She wasn't doing anything particularly wrong, but she wasn't doing anything particularly right either. She'd have dinner, watch TV, maybe have a glass of wine, then go to bed. I gave Margaret a new evening routine. Dinner ending at least 3 hours before bed. A 10-minute walk after dinner. Nothing strenuous, just a gentle walk around the block. At 7 p.m., she'd have a cup of hibiscus tea, 2 tea bags steeped for 8 minutes. At 9 p.m., she'd have a cup of chamomile tea. Again, 2 tea bags steeped properly. Between 9:30 and 10 p.m., she'd do some light stretching or meditation. Nothing intense, just 10 minutes of calm, mindful activity. Then, bed at 10:30. Monitor your blood pressure regularly, ideally at the same time every day. Keep a log and share your results with your doctor. If this video has given you valuable information, I need you to do 3 things. First, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to keep bringing you science-based strategies that your doctor might not tell you. Second, share this video with anyone you know who struggles with high blood pressure. This information could save someone's life. And third, leave a comment below telling me which of these 3 drinks you're going to try. I read every comment and I love hearing from you. Take care of your heart, take care of your blood pressure.